Hello students, my today's topic is consumer's equilibrium. You know when consumer is said to be in equilibrium, when a consumer is having maximum satisfaction. When a consumer is maximizing his satisfaction, he is said to be in equilibrium. So we are having basically two different approaches to understand consumer's equilibrium in class 12th CBSE. The one is cardinal. The first one is cardinal. And the second one is ordinal approach. This ordinal approach is also known as indifference curve theory or Hicksian analysis. In cardinal approach, what we assume that utility can be measurable in terms of numbers. I mean to say, we can measure utility numerically. In ordinal approach, we assume that the utility cannot be measured numerically. We can only compare which is better, which is good. If A is good than B, then B is worse than A. When we compare, it is indifference curve. So in cardinal approach, we have to understand the consumer's equilibrium in two cases. One is single commodity case, the other one is two commodity case. So in single commodity, the consumer is said to be in equilibrium when he is maximizing his satisfaction. In order to find out where he is maximizing his satisfaction, we have to find out a level which he consumes, a level of consumption where he is having maximum satisfaction. That level of consumption is determined where marginal utility of a good in terms of money is equal to price of that good. So this is one way. In order to determine consumer's equilibrium in single commodity case, we have to find out level of consumption where marginal utility of a good in terms of money becomes equal to price of that good. Or we are having the other case, we can also determine consumer's equilibrium by using where MUX upon PX is equal to MUM. This is known as utility per rupee. Utility per rupee should be equal to utility of money. Utility per rupee means the utility which he is deriving from spending that rupee. And utility of money, that is constant. We assume that utility of money is constant and utility of goods are diminishing. So this utility of money, if a consumer does not spend any money, so what utility will he be getting if he keeps a rupee with himself? That is utility of money. So we are having two ways to explain consumer's equilibrium in single commodity case. One is if we want to establish this equality between marginal utility of a good in terms of money equals to price, or we can establish equality between MUX upon PX is equal to MUM. Both are same, but a bit of difference. We have to understand some topics now to understand this utility analysis. One is marginal utility of good. The second one is marginal utility of money. Third is marginal utility of good X in terms of money. And the fourth one is MUX upon PX. We need to understand these four things. What is marginal utility of a good? It is a net addition to total utility by consuming one more unit of a good, or the utility derived from the particular unit is known as marginal utility. This is always diminishing. It may increase for first or second unit, but ultimately it will diminish. So we say the marginal utility of a good is always diminishing. What about marginal utility of money? It is assumed to be constant. So marginal utility of money is constant. MUX in terms of money. That is why we convert marginal utility of a good in equivalent terms of money. How much money is required to buy that much of utility is known as marginal utility of a good in terms of money. In order to determine marginal utility of a good in terms of money, we have to divide marginal utility of good as divided by marginal utility of money. Suppose you all know money, keeping money gives us satisfaction. It means money is having utility even if we do not spend it. Suppose I keep 1 rupee with myself. If I keep 1 rupee with myself, I feel satisfaction equals to 2 utils. If the satisfaction of 1 rupee is equal to 2 utils, the satisfaction from 100 rupees is equal to 200 utils. So we assume that utility of money is constant. Suppose by watching a movie, you are getting satisfaction equal to 400 utils. So by watching a movie, you are getting satisfaction equal to 400 utils. And the utility of money is 2. MUM is marginal utility of money. The 1 rupee utility is 2. So this 400 utils is equal to 200 rupees. This is conversion of utility into money. Suppose 1 rupee से आपको 2 यूटिल्स का सेटिस्फेक्शन मिलता है, तो 400 यूटिल्स के लिए कितने रुपए चाहिए? 200 rupees. So this we are converting marginal utility of a good into money. How much money we require to obtain that much satisfaction. So we can determine marginal utility of money, marginal utility of good in terms of money. Now what is this? This is utility per rupee. Utility per rupee. Utility per rupee का मतलब है कि when you are spending some money and you are getting some satisfaction. For example, if you have spent 10 rupees in the market and you have obtained satisfaction equal to 200 utils, then what is your utility per rupee? That is 20 utils. If you have received satisfaction equal to 400 utils and you spent rupees 20. Now what is the utility per rupee? That is from 20 rupees you have obtained satisfaction equal to 400 utils. 1 rupee, how much satisfaction would you will get? That is equal to 20 utils. So that is MUX upon PX utility per rupee. In order to obtain consumer's equilibrium, we can use these both approaches. I'll be taking both the approaches simultaneously. Shall I write this? I think this is clear. Marginal utility of a good is always diminishing. Marginal utility of money is constant. MUX upon MUM is marginal utility of a good in terms of money. MUX upon PX is utility per rupee. These both are interchangeable. See how. Now in case of single commodity, I take both the approaches. A consumer is said to be in equilibrium. A consumer is said to be in equilibrium when marginal utility of a good in terms of money equals to price. This means marginal utility of a good terms of money should be equal to price. So we can explain like units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, marginal utility 20, 16, 10, 8, 2. No, this is always diminishing. If we assume marginal utility of money is 2, marginal utility of money is always constant, MUN. So what is marginal utility of good X in terms of money? That is, we divide 20 by 2, we'll be getting 10, 16 by 2, we'll be getting 8, 5, 4, 1. And suppose price of this good is rupees 5. Now you see, at third unit, marginal utility of a good in terms of money is equal to price. That is, MUX in terms of money is equal to price of good X. The consumer is in equilibrium when he is consuming 3 units. How? When consumer has consumed first unit, he got satisfaction equals to 20 utils, and these 20 utils are equal to 10 rupees because 1 रुपए से हमें यूटिलिटी मिल रही है 2. मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी ऑफ मनी इज 2. तो 20 यूटिल्स कितने रुपए से मिलेंगे? 10 रुपए से. तो कंज्यूमर को सेटिस्फेक्शन मिल रहा है 10 रुपए के बराबर, 10 रुपीस के बराबर, बट ही इज स्पेंडिंग रुपीस 5. ही इज इन गेन्स. कंज्यूमर को 20 यूटिल्स का सेटिस्फेक्शन मिला. मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी ऑफ मनी को हमने अज्यूम किया है 2, यानी 1 रुपए की यूटिलिटी 2 है, तो उसको सेटिस्फेक्शन मिला है 10 रुपए के बराबर. और उसने स्पेंड किए ओनली 5 रुपीस, यानी he is in gains. He will increase his consumption. When he comes to second unit, he is getting satisfaction equal to 16 utils. Again, utility of money is constant 2. Now, marginal utility of good in terms of money is 8, यानी इसको satisfaction 8 रुपए के बराबर, बट उसको खर्च करने पड़ रहे हैं 5 रुपए. Again, he is in gains. He will shift to next unit. Third unit पर आता है. Now utility diminishes. We all know law of diminishing marginal utility. When a consumer consumes more and more amount of a good, the utility derived from successive units diminishes. So 10 utils का satisfaction. Utility of money is 2. Now marginal utility of a good in terms of money is 5. The price is also rupees 5. So he is in equilibrium. Now, when he is consuming fourth unit, the utility diminishes to 8. Utility of money is constant. The utility which he is getting equal to rupees 4, but he is spending rupees 5. He is in loss. He will not consume the fourth unit. So, when he will consume fourth unit, when price is reduced to rupees 4, because the consumer is in equilibrium. When marginal utility of a good in terms of money becomes equal to price. So this is your first concept, which is very easy. So we can say MUX in terms of money is equal to price. This is equal to MUX upon MUM, that is equal to PX. This is the one way of explaining consumer's equilibrium. Now the other way, directly we can say the consumer is said to be in equilibrium when utility per rupee from spending on a good becomes equal to utility of money. That is, MUX upon PX is equal to MUM. This is what? This is utility per rupee. Utility per rupee. He will spend till this utility per rupee becomes equal to utility of money. How? Units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marginal utility of good X is 20, 16, 10, 8, 2. the price is rupees 5. Now MUX upon PX, 4, 3.2, 2, 1.6, 0.4. This is utility per rupee. When he was consuming first unit, the utility per rupee was 4. For second unit, it was 3.32. For third unit, it was 2. And what is marginal utility of money? That is 2. So the consumer is in equilibrium when he is consuming 3 units, because at third unit, utility per rupee by spending is equal to utility of money. What happens when he was spending first unit? When he was spending on first unit, he was getting utility equals to 20 utils, price was 5, utility per rupee was 4, and utility of money is 2. Suppose if he does not spend that rupee, he is getting satisfaction equals to 2 utils. But he spends, if the consumer decides to spend, he will be getting satisfaction utility from rupees 4. If he keeps the rupee with himself, the satisfaction is 2 utils. But if he spends, the satisfaction is equal to 4 utils. What a rational consumer will do? He will definitely spend because he is in gains. For second unit, what he will do? He will again compare. By spending on second unit, utility per rupee is 3.2. But if he does not spend, if he keeps the rupee with himself, अगर वो खर्च नहीं करता है, तो उसको उस रुपए से 2 रुपए का 2 यूटिल्स का सेटिस्फेक्शन है. लेकिन खर्च कर देता है, तो उसको 3.2 यूटिल्स का सेटिस्फेक्शन है. तो अब कंज्यूमर क्या करेगा? अगर वो 1 रुपए को अपने पास रखता है, तो सेटिस्फेक्शन है 2 यूटिल्स. खर्च कर देता है, तो सेटिस्फेक्शन है 3.2 यूटिल्स. He will definitely spend. He will gain gains. Now, थर्ड यूनिट पर वो खर्च करता है, तो वो क्या पाता है? What he finds कि अगर मैं खर्च करता हूं तो 2 यूटिल्स का सेटिस्फेक्शन है, और खर्च नहीं करता हूं तो भी 2 यूटिल्स का सेटिस्फेक्शन है. तो इस सिचुएशन में हम मानकर चलते हैं वो खर्च कर देगा. ओके, दिस इज द कंडीशन ऑफ कंज्यूमर्स इक्विलिब्रियम, that MUX upon PX should be equal to marginal utility of money. So from this we can reach to the concept of two commodity. Now the first you will find in some of the books this concept is given. In some of the books this concept is given. Both are absolutely correct. In this what we are doing, we are comparing marginal utility of a good in terms of money. कि वो जो satisfaction हमको मिल रहा है वो कितने रुपए के बराबर है. फिर इसको प्राइस से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं. इसके अंदर हम कंपेयर कर रहे हैं कि जब हम खर्च कर रहे हैं तो जो सेटिस्फेक्शन मिला है वो पर रुपी कितना है, उसको हम यूटिलिटी ऑफ मनी से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं. तो इंटरचेंजेबल है दोनों. प्राइस को इधर ले जाऊं, एमयूएम को ऊपर ले जाऊं, तो दोनों बात बन जाती है. आप देख लीजिए इसमें क्या हुआ है, हमारा प्राइस नीचे है, एमयूएम ऊपर है. अगर मैं इसको नीचे लाऊं, इसको इधर ले जाऊं, इंटरचेंज करूंगी पोजीशंस को, तो आई विल गेट दिस. So there is no problem. This is single commodity case. So मैं सोचता हूँ कि I'll come to two commodity case which is very easy. Shall I wrap it? मैं इसको मिटा देता हूँ. Now two commodity case. In two commodity case, the consumer is in equilibrium when the ratio of marginal utility of both the goods to their respective prices becomes equal to marginal utility of money. I have taken this from here. Okay, good X के केस में जो कंज्यूमर इक्विलिब्रियम में है उसी कंडीशन है MUX upon PX is equal to MUM. Good one. Good Y के केस में marginal utility of good Y, price of good Y, that is MUM. Utility of money is constant for the same consumer. By comparing 1 and 2, we'll get this. So we can say when the utility derived from last rupee spent on both the goods become equal. When utility derived from last rupee spent on both the goods becomes equal, the consumer is said to be equilibrium in case of two commodities. Last rupee spent का मतलब जो हम पैसे खर्च कर रहे हैं, तो आखिरी पैनी से जितना हमें सेटिस्फेक्शन मिलने वाला है, दैट इज यूटिलिटी पर रुपी, वो दोनों गुड्स से अगर सेम है तो कंज्यूमर इज इन इक्विलिब्रियम. सो मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी ऑफ मनी इज कांस्टेंट. तो हम ये भी बोल सकते हैं कि कंज्यूमर इज इन इक्विलिब्रियम व्हेन यूटिलिटी पर रुपी फ्रॉम गुड एक्स it is equal to utility per rupee from good Y. Since MUM is constant, इसको हम हटा सकते हैं because हम किसी particular consumer की बात कर रहे हैं जहां पर ये दोनों बराबर होगा तो consumer equilibrium में होगा. So what is the definition of consumer's equilibrium in two commodity case? When the ratio of marginal utilities of both the goods to their respective prices becomes equal to utility of money. This is now. What happens when MUX upon PX is greater than MUY upon PY? क्या होगा कि when this ratio is greater than this, इसका मतलब है when utility per rupee from good X is more than utility per rupee from good Y. So what a consumer will do? This means the consumer is getting more satisfaction from good X and he is getting less satisfaction from good Y. So what he shall do? He should increase the consumption of good X and reduce the consumption good Y. Now ऐसा करने से क्या होगा? When he will increase the consumption, ये रेशियो कम होगी. When he will reduce, ये रेशियो बढ़ेगी, क्योंकि जब ज्यादा कंज्यूम करेंगे तो MUX आपका फॉल करेगा, प्राइस कांस्टेंट है तो रेशियो कम हो जाएगी. जब इसको हम कम कंज्यूम करेंगे तो ये जो MUY है वो बढ़ेगी और आपका प्राइस कांस्टेंट है तो ये रेशियो ज्यादा हो जाएगी. तो कंज्यूमर को ऐसे केस में इसको बढ़ाना चाहिए, इसको कम करना चाहिए गुड वाई की कंजम्पशन को. कब तक? जब तक MUX upon PX is equal to MUY upon PY. So this is two commodity case which is very easy. अब क्वेश्चन कैसा आता है? आजकल पेपर में क्या क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं? Nowadays the questions are asked like, suppose a consumer is in equilibrium. Suppose a consumer is in equilibrium, he is consuming two goods. Determine what happens to the consumption of both the goods if price of one good increases. मैं बड़ा सिंपल कर देता हूं कि मान लो एक कंज्यूमर दो गुड्स को कंज्यूम कर रहा है और वो सेटिस्फेक्शन में है. If a consumer is consuming two goods and he is in equilibrium, वो equilibrium में है from utility analysis, so we are having this condition: MUX upon PX is equal to MUY upon PY. The question says, कि suppose price of good Y increases, कि good Y का प्राइस इंक्रीज हो जाता है, तो अब कंज्यूमर क्या करेगा? देखिए MUX upon PX and MUY upon PY. अगर प्राइस ऑफ गुड वाई इंक्रीजेस तो ये रेशियो कम हो जाएगी, क्योंकि ये उतना ही है, बट प्राइस बढ़ने से ये छोटा हो जाएगा, कम हो जाएगा. तो नाउ यूटिलिटी पर रुपी फ्रॉम गुड एक्स बिकम्स ग्रेटर देन यूटिलिटी पर रुपी फ्रॉम गुड वाई. कंज्यूमर क्या करेगा? ही विल इंक्रीज द कंजम्पशन ऑफ गुड एक्स एंड रिड्यूस द कंजम्पशन ऑफ गुड वाई. सेकेंड क्वेश्चन, सपोज कंज्यूमर इक्विलिब्रियम में है, गुड एक्स सस्ता हो गया है, गुड एक्स का प्राइस कम हो गया है, तो MUX upon PX and MUY upon PY. अगर ये गुड सस्ता हो गया है, गुड एक्स, इसका प्राइस कम हो गया है, जब हम कम से MUX को डिवाइड करेंगे ज्यादा हो जाएगा. अगेन दिस, मान लेते हैं ये 60 और ये 3 और ये 40 और ये 2. both are in equilibrium. In case of both the goods, the consumer is in equilibrium. ये दोनों रेशो इक्वल है. सपोज अब ये कहता है कि गुड एक्स सस्ता हो गया है, यानी 60/2 हो गया एंड 40/2 ही रहा. रिजल्ट क्या निकलेगा? 30 एंड 20. तो 30 इज ग्रेटर देन 20. तो जब भी ये वैल्यू कम होगी ये रेशो बढ़ जाएगी. इफ ही सेज ये सस्ता हो गया है, गुड वाई जो है कम हो गया है, गुड वाई का प्राइस कम हो गया है, 60/3 40/1 क्या होगा? ये है 20 लेस देन 40. तो इस केस में कंज्यूमर को क्या करना चाहिए? इस केस में कंज्यूमर should increase the consumption of good Y and reduce the consumption of good X till both becomes equal. तो अब इसका कंजम्पशन जो है वो कम करें, इसका कंजम्पशन बढ़ाए. इसका कंजम्पशन कम करेगा 30 पर पहुंच जाएगा, इसका बढ़ाएगा तो 30 पर. अगेन ही विल रीच इन इक्विलिब्रियम. तो सिंपल है कि कंज्यूमर को सेटिस्फैक्शन मैक्सिमम तब होगा when MUX upon PX is equal to MUM in case of single commodity, और दोनों commodities के केस में X को रिप्लेस कर Y आना है बस. तो we are having two different ways to explain single commodity. One was we were equating marginal utility of a good in terms of money with the price, and secondly we can also compare utility per rupee with the utility of money. Thank you very much.